What do you do if you're sitting at a restaurant? And this is a specific restaurant, but this could happen anywhere. What do you do when you're sitting in the restaurant and 10 minutes goes by, for instance, nobody comes up to you? You're seated, and then no server comes up. You're not greeted. You're not handed the menu, whatever. What do you do? In this case,
I know what you do.
this happened at Buffalo Wild Wings. Customer waited 10 minutes for the server to take their order. So what did they decide to do?
I would just go in the kitchen, start cooking myself.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, give me that pan over there,
I'll
Chef.
help out. You guys are busy today.
I'll help out.
Listen to this. This is a little social media video that was put up and circulating around. Karina Heredia went to Buffalo Wild Wings recently and was seated. Nothing after being seated. No server, no nothing. And this individual, Karina, says that this is her go-to tactic now when she goes to a restaurant and the server doesn't come up to them in a timely fashion. 10 minutes is way too long.
Way too long.
What do you think Karina does now if she's waiting too long at the table before she's seen by a server?
She makes a scene? Starts smoking? I don't know what.
Takes her top off.
Yeah, I'd take forever to get to her table if I knew that was the case.
But then you'd get right over.
Listen to what Karina's does. Karina grabs her cell phone. And Karina calls the restaurant on the phone from
That's awesome.
from the table.
Hey, I'm over at the table in the corner.
So, hello, Buffalo Wild Wings. Can we help you? Yes, hi. I'm sitting in the rear right corner and nobody is coming to my table. How about that for a tactic? If the service is lousy, you call the restaurant from your table and say, hey, can you send somebody to my table, please? I'm sitting here for 10 minutes. So Karina says that after being ignored by the waitstaff for 10 minutes, she pulled out her cell phone, called the restaurant while sitting there. That's great. She said that there was no server in sight. Anyway, the video has gone viral, and I guess this is not the only place that she's waited at. What do you think? According to restaurant owners and the general consensus, once you're seated, what do you think the acceptable amount of time is for a server to come to the table, greet you, take a drink order, hand you some menus, whatever? What do you think is acceptable? Let me put it this way. It shouldn't take any longer than blank for you to be addressed by a server.
Yeah, I have a number in mind.
All right, what do you think it is?
I think 2 minutes.
Boom, right on the money. All right.
I mean, just enough time to get settled in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. But MJ, you said how long should it take them to come to your table, bring you a menu? Like sometimes when you're seated, you're already looking at the menus. So if you have the menus to look at, you can take a little time.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 minutes is the right answer, but if it went a little bit longer and you have your menu, okay.
Well, we're talking about you don't have the menu. For you to be seated seated and greeted. Look at that. Seated and greeted. It should take no longer than 2 to 3 minutes for the servers to make contact and address the patrons that were just seated at the table. And then 3 to 4 minutes is the maximum amount of time for a drink to be set down. So 3 to 4 minutes, you should have a drink, whether it's water or, you order a soft drink or whatever. Hey, speaking of drinks, I have something. Let me see if I can find this. I wasn't going to do this right here, but this will actually, hang on, let me find this. This is really an interesting story about drinking at a restaurant and, when you should and what you should drink. Let me see if I can find this. If not, oh, here we go. I got it. This works out very. This kind of fits in nicely. There are certain drinks, and I bet folks didn't really know this. So, food and beverage experts like sommeliers and those that know the restaurant business well, there are certain drinks that you should not have before dinner. Do you know why?
Because it ruins your palate.
It does.
Oh, I was just guessing.
No, Fester, you're 100% right.
As soon as you said sommelier, I was thinking some uppity answer. Like,
I tell you what, you're getting a lot of things right these days.
I don't know what's wrong
Yeah.
with me. I'm sorry.
Or in the last hour.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. These last few
These days,
I mean, I
I
guess
don't know.
two things happen to be back to back.
Seriously, that it is suggested that you don't go with the heavy alcohol, high alcoholic beverage volume drinks up front because they can have a damaging effect on the palate and actually throw off your taste for the food. So the recommendation is that you have the heavier drinks like vodka, whiskeys, rums, bourbon, scotches, that you have those after your meal or toward the back end of your meal.
Is this really breaking news? I mean,
Well-
look at the stuff you eat when you're drunk. Of course you can't really appreciate
You know what?
the food.
Well,
I love a good bourbon or whiskey. I love great wine. I consider myself above average when it comes to being a wine connoisseur. But what happens if you front load your meal with the heavier, high alcoholic beverages? These the distilled beverages. You're screwing with the palate, and it's going to throw the food flavor off. So you're not going to get the best taste bud receptor feedback from heavy drink. It's going to screw with your food, but it's also, if you're ordering wine, it's also going to mess with the fact that you ordered a great bottle of wine and you want to enjoy the nuances of the wine.
see, Fester, I think this is breaking news because I find that when I go out to dinner, oftentimes the people I'm with will say, let's have a drink first, and they'll order a cocktail
Right?
with like the appetizers or even before the appetizers get
Yep.
there. And then, we'll have wine with the dinner. So this is saying don't do that.
Exactly. If you want hard drinks, save those for later. The recommendation is if you do want a drink prior to dinner before wine, they're recommending that you go with an aperitivo. You like, for instance, an Aperol Spritz, Negroni are recommended. Also, the heavy sugary drinks, you should also avoid those as well. So the cocktails with heavy sugar, those will also screw with your taste buds.
I don't know.
It's a temporary numbing effect that can reduce your ability to discern the intricate flavors and aromas in the wine that you have during dinner, and also the taste of the food that you're eating.
See, I'm never going to go to dinner and have wine with my meal. And then when I'm done, say, okay, give me a shot of tequila I'm never going to do that because after I've finished my food and my wine, I just want to go to bed. Right?
Liquor before hard, you're in the yard. Liquor before beer, you're in the clear.
I don't know.
What's that
Yeah, I
expression?
forgot what it is. Liquor before, is it before or after?
Liquor before-
Wine feeling fine?
Hard before liquor
It
before
makes you
beer.
sicker is the ending.
You're in the yard or in the clear.
Beer before liquor makes you sicker.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like. Hey, so I know Michelle is listening, and Michelle likes to have an old fashioned before we have wine. Or
Exactly.
But again, Michelle, my lovely wife, I know you're listening right now because you dropped off Julian at the airport. You're not supposed to do that. That it's messing with your palate.
Yeah.
All right, I got to do
wait.
Yeah.
I have to tell you.
Yeah.
Will you say this, Fester, please?
She's writing down
This
a
is
joke.
the only poem I know. That's the only one I know.
What?
Liquor up front, poker in the rear.
What?
Like,
All right, I'm dumping that.
It's like a bar, like a casino,
I just dumped that.
like a casino. Like the bar is up in the front of the casino, so there's liquor in the front of the casino, and then there's gambling, and there's poker in the back.
I just dumped that.
Liquor in the front, poker in the rear. Right.
I just
It's-
dumped that from the show.
yeah, it's
Oh my! It lives on MJTV and the podcast, but I dumped that off the federally regulated airwaves of WRBQ FM Tampa, a Beasley Media Group station at 104.7 FM.
if I opened a casino, that is the layout I would go with.
With
The
an-
bars in the front, the gambling's in the back.
With an effective radiated power of 100,000 watts, but a tower that's way too short. You like the video? If so, go ahead and click like, share, subscribe, and get more.